We'll start us off with a short icebreaker activity like last time. So what you will do is, just take a moment to, on the post-its on the table, take a moment to think about what does visioning mean to you. So the purpose of today is how can we envision future Main Streets? So I want to get your perspective on what do you think visioning means. And the other thing is just write one thing or one innovation that you imagine you took a trip to the 2054 and walk down a main street. So I want you to describe one thing that you saw and wish you could bring back. So you can write on each on a separate post-it, and I'll give you 5 minutes, and then we'll do a round robin to see what people are saying. So I will make sure. Here's a post-it. Okay, so let's get started. Show you how it kind of works, but I will. I'll try to separate them if they're not separated. But for me, visioning, what it means is having the state of power and agency to share your ideas. So if you're capable of visioning something, it's because you have that freedom to do that. And the other thing, in terms of one innovation, I wrote in-house integrated public transport. So not having to, I can go just to the ground floor, catch my metro, and I'm at work or at home. So it's okay. Who wants to go next? I don't want to look at Song because she's feeling pressured. So.
My name is Ramsey. I have a microphone.
Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Rongxiang, and
It's on. It's just for the
Hello?
video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Rongxiang, and I work at MIT Sensible City Lab. Visioning I wrote down there is, I believe I wrote something like feasible and foreseeable solutions and technologies for better quality of life. And yeah, but I just realized that maybe we need to redefine what is feasible nowadays. Maybe what we see is feasible right now, or what we see is not feasible right now could be feasible in the future. And one thing I want to bring back from 2054 is drones transporting human, so that traffic congestions the situation might be better.
Thanks a lot, Rong Chang.
Hello, testing. Of people in the future watching this video, you hear me? Okay, yeah, you do? Okay, we're going. So, and my name is Isaac Endler, pronouns he, him. I am a Master's of City Planning student here at DUSP and MIT. And what does visioning mean to me? Well, in my opinion, it's visualizing the future and its possibilities, and then taking action to achieve it. And for the one thing I am bringing back from 2054 is new types of bioswales to handle climate change, because climate change is going to be really, really, really bad in 2054, and we're already feeling impacts now. And so maybe if I can bring back some of those climate innovations earlier, we can really regulate its effects. Of course, we're not taking into account how that might affect the future, and if they'll even develop it, if it's something like that in the future, if it's not too bad, But that's a problem for other people to solve.
Thank you, Isaac.
You're welcome.
Yeah?
Yes. Hi, I am Salvador. I am a sports fellow here at DUSP. On the visioning exercise, I wrote down, for me, visioning is creating a future image. But I think the word creating is what interesting about this, because you combine a lot of information, dreams. Um, it's something you craft together with many people. And on the innovation that I would like to bring from 30 years in the future, I wrote something like a portable, automated, efficient canopy, maybe related to climate change, because I believe, you said it will be tough days then. So to keep main streets lively, I think canopies would be needed, but in a different way.
Thank you, Salvador.
So, my name's Ann Ryan, and I based my comments on the picture that we saw, which appalled me, because it was a future that had no recognition of climate change or of human problems such as what we encounter in Central Square in Cambridge, which is the intersection of drug addiction and homelessness and healthcare, lack of healthcare, but some healthcare. So human problems and environmental problems aren't reflected in that picture of the future. And I find that totally unacceptable, because we aren't going to fix climate change by 54. I'm reading right now a policy statement that's being developed by the City of Somerville on sustainability. And I am so grateful that the young people are there doing it, but they're not facing the problems yet. They believe data is going to fix it. And that mindset is very dangerous. So, I don't have much good to say. My vision is that I'm working right now on I'm giving input to a community's visioning statement about the possibility of sustainability. So that's a vision already here, which I hope will have some impact by 54. I don't see anything I could adhere to in that picture, other than I'm sure that all of it is zero. What's the term? What's the
Net
ideal?
zero emissions.
Zero emissions in buildings, right? Okay, I'm supposed to think that zero emissions are in the buildings, but that still doesn't account for the need for air cleaning from trees, and there's one row of trees going up, and there's no indoor-outdoor access on higher floors. I mean, it's just stunning in its, that's a 1964 presentation of what 2054 might be. It is not good.
Thanks a lot, Anne. A good thing we chose the visioning exercise to focus a lot on the environmental and climate change. So thank you for the comments.
Hi everyone, I'm Leo. I'm also a master's student here and also work at Sensible City Lab. I said for visioning that it's basically a visual storytelling of or around a future scenario. And in terms of the 2054 vision, I don't know. I think it could be interesting to, maybe have a bit of a more of a low-tech kind of vision, and maybe no drones or anything in that direction, but rather coming back to more like a pedestrianized kind of main street where you don't have any transport besides kind of just a lot of space to walk and maybe suitable space. That is appealing in a sense, also picking up on what you said, to kind of nature, bring back nature into the cities, maybe by regenerative materials of the buildings, but at the same time also greenery, so kind of going more towards a biophilic design.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. So I'd never heard of the word visioning before. But it reminded me of I think it's like not sure how you pronounce it, but it's a similar term, but it's more like superstitious. So that was what my first instinct was. But since it's presented in this setting, I assumed there was more to it. So I just said it was like superstition, but also having a plan of like how to make that.
It's similar. I mean, it's foresight, so it's...
Yeah. And then I misread the second question. I guess because of the picture, I thought it was referring specifically to Mass Ave and not any main street. So my answer was like, so for like buildings, some kind of adjustable or movable like entrance at different floors.
Okay.
Because realistically, this is probably going to be underwater by then. So there would be like, little like Venice style, like, like maybe 2054, we might be at like the first floor, or maybe a couple decades, you could just sort of move it up a little bit. Keep the main street alive with boats or something, I don't know.
Interesting.
Good
Thank you.
times.
Max?
Yeah, as Paddy said, my name is Max. I am an undergraduate here for chemical engineering. So, admittedly, I did not put too much thought into this or how it really related to the greater theme. So whenever I saw the term visioning, I just thought like, well, okay, like we see envisioning or like visioning as an abstract sense. So the definition I came from that.
Okay.
Yeah, the definition I came from that was more of a general sense of like, well, how do we see visions itself? We write stories, we have a vision of it when we have objects in front of us, or even like things that we can't really detect, like radar. Like we have ways to see and try to convert it into ways that we can do. So like I just wrote, it's providing tangibility to abstract things, or it could be data, but it could just be an abstract thing as itself. But
So
like,
what did you write?
exactly that. I think it's like verbatim, like providing tangibility to abstract.
Okay.
It's pink. Yeah, my handwriting's
Tangibility
terrible.
to abstract. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to see it.
Yeah, because our intuition is in a way abstract, and so I think that gives a good sense that even then, when we write things, we provide a vision. And as for 2054, I'm pretty sure, again, did not put much thought into this. I'm pretty sure I wrote something stupid like the Amazon Kindle number 79 or something like that. The joke being that, there's just so much, or similar how we have smartphones that have more computing power than the Apollo phone and like billions and billions of times more information than what we have like half a century ago. I'm pretty sure like the Kindle would just be leagues above whatever we have right now. But the thing I wrote above that was just like a radioisotope dated rock, so we can tell whenever nuclear war happened. I guess.
You're such an engineer. It's so funny. It's good to have different perspectives. I mean,
like the actual response I wrote down was like nano machines, just because just because I think, well, I don't know. I guess if I were to amend something, I'm like, my position is like, well, climate change is mostly like a policy thing, in my opinion, but it would be nice to have like nano machines, or like the key to a lot of future technologies in nano. But yeah.
thank you.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
What happened?
Oh, I didn't know.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a PhD student in the Sensible City Lab. I'm sorry that I was late. I wrote down that visioning was vividly imagining to plan for action, and I think I was imagining like envisioning something that you want to plan to happen. But I like Anne's ideas, who she's maybe, oh, Anne's here. Ideas about how maybe envisioning can also be imagining something you want to plan against, or like envisioning a worst case scenario and planning against it. I think that's a powerful idea. And for a 2054 innovation, I said clean, easy transportation, which is maybe a little vague thinking about all of the super interesting and detailed responses you all gave, but something that feels a little bit, it both doesn't harm the environment, but also feels a little bit more open, less closed off and congested than the car system we have in our cities right now.
Thanks a lot, Kate.
Hi, I'm Song. I'm a visiting student from Sensible City Lab. And for me, visioning, personally, I think it means space plus behavior. Maybe it's from an architect perspective, yeah. It not only means the to show the spatial scene in the future, and also to show how people use it or how people behave in that spatial scene. And for the 2054 innovation, I wrote, I thought maybe at that time, maybe there are no any real persons in the main street. Maybe people just sense the street through some like technologies like sensors or VR technologies, something like that. So maybe I can bring back like some memory or some automated vision of the main street. Yeah.
So AI future.
Yeah, future.
Yeah. Hi. I'm Lindsay, and I'm also a visiting student at Sensible City Lab. Yeah. And regarding the concept of visioning, my answer is quite simple. It's just future possibility. Yeah. Yeah. Because to me, I feel visioning is just like imagining what the future would be. Yeah. And for our life or the main street in 2054, I feel my idea is quite similar to Song and maybe kind of contrary to what Liu said. Yeah, because I'm also imagining how the technology will change our society. So what I highlight is two things. The first is robots. So I also think there may be fewer real humans on the street, but many things can be replaced with robots. So we are coexisting on this earth. Yeah, and the second thing I would like to highlight is some new transportation tools like self-driving, or maybe there can be some small airplanes on the sky so that people don't need to drive. Yeah, we can. Yeah, it can help reduce the congestion. Maybe. Yeah. Just some idea.
Thank you very much. Sam? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sam. To me, visioning, as akin to others, is I don't remember exactly. I don't know, but thinking about the untapped potential or unrealized potential and the possibilities of the future, and what today isn't working that could be. And then in 2054, one innovation I wish to see is no virgin plastics being used by 2054. I couldn't quite say zero waste or zero plastic because I don't think we'll be there, but specifically no new plastic is what I would like to see.
Thank you very much. So I think that's it. Thank you for...
What's his face? Will is on his way.
Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent. So yeah, we have some Design X pioneers here using Gen AI. So
that's Will.
yeah, okay.
About that.